The BlokeBusters podcast is a proud member of the Pod Bros Network. You can find us, as well as other great shows such as The Ectoplasm Show and AB Film Review, over at podbros.com. And now get ready to share and enjoy the BlokeBusters podcast.
Tonight's story is somewhat unique and calls for a different kind of introduction.
Who's got armor? Today we are canceling the apocalypse! Excellent!
Houston, we have a problem.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Get away from her, you bitch!
And like that, he's gone.
Welcome to episode 96 of the BlokeBusters podcast. I'm Brian.
And I'm Paul.
And today we will be talking about Thor Ragnarok.
Yes.
Excited about this one, Paul. Happy we have some fresh film meat, as it were, to talk about here.
Yes, it has been a little while.
Has been a little while, but before we get into all of that, toss it over to you, sir.
Okay.
Where can people find us?
Well, aside from listening to us right now, which I'd be impressed to hear if people have managed to find just this little section and nothing else, so that'll be interesting.
Who knows? This could be all that, survives the apocalypse.
Could be.
Yeah.
I feel very proud if this was the only thing that survived the apocalypse.
Unless that means they took all of the good podcasts and then they're like, oh no one wants that one. So there's always that way. That's the pessimist way to look at things. So yeah, you're welcome for that.
Yeah.
But other than
other than that,
where else on the interwebs?
So yes, you can find us on Twitter at BlokeBusters, Facebook.com/BlokeBusters, Instagram at BlokeBusters. You can email us BlokeBusterPodcast@gmail.com, and we have a website, BlokeBusters.webs.com, which may or may not be up to date. So there's that.
All right.
And so that's the nuts and bolts on our side, and the nuts and bolts for this film in particular. Directed by, and I really hope I don't butcher this.
Well, can I take it then?
Go ahead.
All right, Taika Waititi.
That is how I would have said it, so I'm glad.
Okay, well, I'm sorry to jump in there, but
no, that's
I love
fine.
Taika, and I didn't want to hear it. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I'd rather it be done properly, so yes, no problem there. And a budget of $180 million, and a box office as of 4 days after release. That's domestic. $439,377,321 US. So it has, assuming we go for the double the budget, if you add in the marketing, it should have made it back by now, and it's only just got through the opening weekend.
So yes, doing okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Struggling along, yeah, but it'll make a profit, it looks like. Yes, big shock there.
Yeah.
So who's in this bloody thing?
Let's see. You've got Thor, Loki, Heimdall, and Hulk all making a resurgence here. And the new people, you've got Cate Blanchett playing Hela. More on her a bit later. You've got Jeff Goldblum as Grandmaster, who most people are going, who? And yeah, kind of understandable. I'm sure a lot of people that listen to this don't necessarily follow the comics. He is generally accepted as the brother of Benicio del Toro's character Collector, and they are elders of the universe. So yeah, very interesting there.
Everyone thank Paul for that tidbit. Thank you, Paul.
Yes. God, you're welcome. And the last name I have written down here is Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie. And,
yes.
And I'm sure
an awesome job.
We will mention others as they come up.
Okay. So. Yeah, she was great. Okay. All right. So
I feel like since you seem to be such a big fan of Taika, what's your previous experience with his stuff then?
Well, I love What We Do in the Shadows.
Of course.
Yeah, it's amazing. That was really my first introduction to him, which I know Eagle vs. Shark was a lot of people's introduction. I was not hip to that. I think I was aware of it, but for some reason or another, I don't know, it didn't catch my eye and pull me in. It's on my list of things I need to get to, but that is ever expanding and never ever getting things crossed off. So hardly ever. But yeah, that's in there. But yeah, so what we do in the shadows, I mean, I own it digitally. It's just, people have seen it. You know how hilarious it is. Yeah, it's amazing. And then, in that mockumentary style. And I think we covered that extensively in our mockumentary episode.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, and then there's Hunt for the Wilder People, which is just a completely different film, which is why one of the reasons I love him and love him as a director. He can pretty much tackle anything here. Hunt for the Wilder People. Have you seen that, Paul?
It is in my queue.
Okay.
I added it a little while ago.
Okay.
I'm almost done with Stranger Things. I got to get through that.
Oh yes, absolutely, priorities. So yeah, we got Sam Neill in there, and then this wonderful the kid that plays Ricky, Julian Dennison. He's just awesome. But yeah, it's just like a kind of a road movie, but in the woods.
Right.
Sam Neill and this kid being hunted for something that they may or may not have done. It's just a very fun, touching, beautiful movie, and it's kind of that laughing, crying, like emotional ride, and it's just a great movie, and it's completely different from what we do in the Shadows. Completely different, obviously, from Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
So it's just impressive, I think, that he can really handle these kind of indie darlings, the comedy, and giant blockbuster. So yeah, that's sorry, gushing over Taika, but he's just awesome. I love him, and I can't wait for more of his stuff. So
yeah, based on what little I've seen of his work, yes, it will be very interesting going forward to see what he comes up with. So yeah, what do you think we should start with? Sort of general feelings on the film? Or do you think we should dive
absolutely.
Okay.
I think let's just cover that initially here. So I'm going to take a stab and guess that you liked it.
I did. Yes, you're correct there.
I know I took a chance there. How much did you like it? I mean, kind of where does it rank in the pantheon for you?
Well,
I know we're fresh off watching it, so
yes, very much so. First and foremost, I will say that it is my favorite Thor film.
Okay, I mean, you just had one to beat, so.
Well,
I mean, and I didn't say which one. I just said one, but yes, of course, the first one.
All right.
I didn't even see the second one. That's how mediocre that apparently was.
Yeah, the second one was. It had its problems. It was okay, but it was almost what people assumed Captain America 2 would be. So yeah, there's that.
Still better than Iron Man 2 and maybe worse than Age of Ultron.
Yeah,
kind of in there as the worst
there.
Marvel movies.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed Age of Ultron.
Okay. Yes.
I will say it kind of felt, and you can probably guess why. It kind of felt to me on par with the first Guardians of the Galaxy in terms of feeling, when I was watching.
Okay, yeah.
If that makes sense to you.
It does, because I don't know if you were looking up any other research stuff, but they said a big influence was Big Trouble in Little China,
right.
with those kind of 80s aesthetics, which makes sense with the Guardians of the Galaxy mentioned, kind of the late 70s or mid 70s and into early 80s. Music and just kind of the color, the saturation and all of that. It just, definitely feels very much like that world.
Yeah, very much so. And what about you then? So where does it kind of fall for you?
I really liked it. I'm trying to kind of weigh how I feel, because I've come off of these things a little too excited or too amped, and and just thinking it's the greatest thing ever. I really did like this. Obviously, I think this is, like you're saying, probably the best of the Thor movies thus far. I think. Well, this is all we're getting, right, of the Thor standalones. As far as I understand,
right now, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe in future they might go forward. Yeah.
Yeah. But I love how this I mean, we'll maybe get into it a little bit later. And of course, spoilers on these episodes. If you're new to BlokeBusters, we talk about all things. I just like to throw that out there. But yes, I love how this set up things for Infinity War. And perhaps more on that later.
Yeah, and also solved a couple of issues that people were having with some possible continuity issues.
I.e. Infinity Stones?
Yes.
Okay, we'll get there too. All right. Or we can get there now. I don't care. But anyway, as far as just ranking Marvel films, I would say this is probably in the upper third of films. I'm not going to trouble anyone with trying to make a list off the top of my head, but I would say it's one of the funniest. I would say it's up there with Guardians as far as humor goes. We know how I feel about Guardians 2. The unpopular opinion that I have on Guardians 2. But I think this is a very fun movie. If you're going plot, are we really watching Marvel movies for a fantastic plot anymore? No, not really. So, that withstanding, this is a good bit of fun and not overly long. I didn't think. I could have stood it to be a little shorter, but overall, loved it. So
yeah, I'll say I definitely did not feel at any point that I needed to look at my watch. Like, I wasn't going in. How much longer do I have here?
Yeah. And I managed my beer intake, so I didn't have to struggle with the last act.
Fair enough. Yes, always very important when it comes to these slightly.
Well, yes, because you're gonna, no matter what you miss, it's gonna be a good part. Yeah, presumably. So now that we kind of know what we're thinking on the movie, was there anything that really stuck out to you immediately? Was it the look of the film? Was it any performances? The music.
I will say that overall, I felt that the writing in this film, it seems as though they've learned from all of the films that have been coming before it, and I think that this is sort of the tightest script in as far as blending the comedy with the plot and with the characters. I think that they walk that line very well throughout the film, and I almost feel like it's the funniest film in the Marvel franchise so far.
Really? I think more so than Guardians? Yeah.
I think it did it better. I mean, Guardians had funnier moments, but I think overall this had
pound for pound.
Yeah, the best blend of the comedy with everything else. So.
No, I will say, that first reel is very joke heavy. They really pull you in with the humor in that first 15 minutes, and then there's kind of a tone shift, balances things out with a bit of heaviness, and then I think that blend you're kind of talking about, I think really is established.
Yeah. Because
I agree.
Yeah, they started out going okay. They just kind of went silly a little bit with the opening, and then they needed to have plot. So that kind of did the seriousness. And then,
it's all right. Yes, let's get down to business. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think there's almost no film that's really been able to marry the early plot development with brilliant comedy all the way through, with possible exception of some Simon Pegg Edgar Wright film. But yeah, I did really enjoy that, and it was nice to see because I felt that the Thor character in general, with the exception of I think Age of Ultron, which being not a great film as I was expecting, I thought the Thor character was still evolving in that. I feel like he's reached a good level in this where it's still got that ego, but he has loosened up as a result of meeting these people and having these new experiences. So he's also learned a bit from Loki as well, I think. So as a character, he's evolved, and it was nice to see he wasn't still just this headstrong god. Still a little headstrong, but definitely humbled by everything he's gone through.
Yeah, and Taika had said that he wanted Chris's humor to come through more and for the character, and that obviously I would say that was accomplished pretty well. So because this is, I think, definitely the best developed Thor we've seen as far as balancing those things of kind of ego and but lighthearted and very kind of witty and just overall kind of capturing the screen. Yeah, definitely was fun to watch.
Yeah, very much so.
Along those lines, I don't know. I mean, we got to talk about this guy. Just, I think podcast favorite.
Yeah,
probably. We have Jeff Goldblum in this movie. So, what did you think of him as Grandmaster?
Well, number one, his introduction.
Great intro.
With that slight hint of World of Pure Imagination.
God, that was beautiful. That was so well wonderful. Yeah. I love that instrumental. Yeah.
But the introduction to the character is one of my favorite introductions. Just because of how there's almost no real introduction. It's all this build up, and then it's just this guy who's just like, okay. Who's just Jeff Goldblum, really? I mean, he's kind of playing
is
himself.
That not what every role he's done in the past 20 years, pretty much?
Yeah. It's almost as if he's the Jeff Goldblum character from Jurassic Park if he was taken from the very, very, very beginning of Jurassic Park and given the powers of the universe, and then by put over here you go. Like, that's what it would have turned into. It would have been this guy. So.
I like, yeah. I'm okay with that. No, apparently, Now, if you're familiar with us covering Marvel films, I don't claim to be a comic expert. I am, by and large, not a comic expert. So if we say things that are incorrect in storyline or canon or anything like that, apologies. But please don't rake us over the coals too harshly. But I do understand that the Grandmaster is supposed to be like entirely blue.
Yes.
And I believe they did not do that for a couple of reasons. One is that I don't think you really cover up Goldblum's face, and he's good enough actor that he doesn't need to be blue. And he was also blue in Earth Girls Are Easy. Fantastic movie from 1988. Check that one out. Is it Jim Carrey in that one? Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure that's one.
And Gina Davis. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. So you were aware of that. I know you are a little more attuned to the comics than myself.
Yes, and I don't recall if I've read any that feature the character, but I do like to kind of brush up once I've seen the film. So yes, I knew that he was blue, and that yes, they didn't want any parallels with Earth Girls Are Easy, and they didn't want to cover him up at all in case it sort of took away from the performance, which
I think it could have.
Yeah, it definitely would have been. It would have been interesting to see. I feel like you can't necessarily play, depending on how they did it, because obviously Yondu came off great in that film, but I think this sort of character, if he'd just been blue, and like that, just kind of would have been part of the silliness of him, and that wasn't necessary.
I think it could have been just a little too much. Because you're already getting so much with Jeff Goldblum. He'll take it over the top himself. You don't need any extras.
Yes. Yeah, it's always fun to see Goldblum in not so serious roles, and he clearly was having a ball with this one.
Yes, and I do love his method of dispatching people. That was, although quite messy. I hope they have good janitors on that planet. Yeah.
And obviously, I feel like his character as well wouldn't dispatch people that way as much as he does if that bodyguard of his was not his bodyguard. It's always just like, oh, here you go. It's like, no, like, this isn't a meltable offense. Like, why are you giving me this?
So, I think but that's the only sentence I think is right. Is melting. It doesn't matter what.
Yeah,
I think,
at least according to her.
there aren't degrees to that you can be melted. It's kind of an all or nothing proposition.
Yeah.
Where would you like to head here after this?
Well, one of my issues with this film actually comes from the villain.
Okay.
I don't know how you feel about it, but like Hela, based on Hel, is someone who is effectively all-powerful once she gets to Asgard, and just is someone that just creates knives, essentially, just lots and lots of big knives.
Yes.
And I kind of thought she was more boring than Ultron.
Oh, really? Okay. I just thought
Yeah,
it was
I
Kate
just-
Bland shit.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We've just been canceled. We don't even have, but somehow we have just been canceled. I'm so sorry, Paul.
Yeah,
Okay.
all of that preparation on the deal gone off its broken.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's a vicious business. Okay, but well deserved for that one. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know exactly what it is. It really did just feel like cookie cutter. Like, oh, this is someone who's just mad and wants to hurt people. And that's it. That is literally it. There's nothing else to the character. So, yeah, I just don't know. I mean, I guess there wasn't really any other villain that could have led this film. That there wouldn't have been any emotional impact if it wasn't someone who was related to Thor and Loki. But they could have at least made the character a bit more interesting.
So I don't know the universe well enough to come up with a feasible alternative to the villain for the villain. But I did feel much in the same way. I like Kate Blanchett just fine. I think she's fantastic in most of the projects that she's involved with, and she is forever Galadriel to me. You know, but yeah, in this, I just reading on things like she did this as a favor to one of her kids. Yeah, I think the quote was, "This could really boost your career," which is kind of hilarious. Because it's clearly been going nowhere so far. But I don't want to just throw things out there, but I will with zero proof. But I don't think that she may not have been 100% invested in this. I don't know. That's kind of how I felt.
Possibly, yeah.
I don't know if it was just the writing. Who knows? But I don't know if that's a fair criticism or not.
And
it very well could not be.
Yeah, and apparently she found it difficult playing it while wearing a motion capture suit. So maybe that also was part of it. So.
But yeah, it wasn't. I mean, hey, more intriguing villain than Suicide Squad, but I mean, we're
True.
you know.
Yeah, very true.
I haven't dumped on Suicide Squad in a bit, so yeah, I had to get that in there. Yeah, so apart from the villain, I think almost all of this did kind of work, at least for me.
Yeah, no, there wasn't much else that I can think of that sort of fell apart. Even just the relatively bit roles by everyone else, they kind of kicked it out of the park. Like Scourge was just interesting to watch. And it was a predictable arc of his, but it was still fun to watch Karl Urban take that and just run with it. Yeah,
it's Karl Urban is just like more and more. I'm just really enjoying him as kind of an action hero. Here he's really kind of coming into his own. Apart from Dread, you know, our feelings well documented there. Although people do really like that movie, so I'm not gonna shame you for liking that. But yeah, I mean, Bones. I mean, how fantastic is he as Bones?
Yeah.
And then, of course, and Lord of the Rings. You know, we have more Lord of the Rings people here.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was great. And then also, I do want to bring up Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie. I thought she was amazing in this. People unfamiliar with the name, you would know her hopefully from Westworld as the kind of I don't know how to call it. She's the executive who just wants to take a, she's very in control of and very antagonistic towards the Hopkins character of Ford, I guess, wants him out of the picture.
Yeah.
That's her. Yeah. And then, of course, Creed. She was amazing as the counterpoint to Creed, I guess we'll call him, in that. And then a great Netflix series, Dear White People. She's really, really good in, too.
Oh, yeah. That's a great one.
Yeah, so, I'm looking forward to a lot more from her, but this is a great character, I think, and looking forward to her in Infinity War, definitely.
Yes, it will be really cool to see, and I am sort of interested that they have come out and stated that unequivocally her character is bisexual.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily catch that in the film. I mean, obviously they didn't need to telegraph or something, but if they were going to make a point of saying that, I feel like maybe that's going to be something going forward. But she in this film felt very much the love interest of Thor. Like, I kind of hate using the love interest tag because it does kind of just make it seem like, okay, so this person is the
because that's not all she's there for. No, she's But I read that as well, and I mean that's I don't have any thing else really to add there. I don't know if it's one of those just fleshing out the character a little more for her, as part of the performance. But I don't know if that'll be part of the or become more relevant in Infinity War, if it doesn't matter, which I mean might be the point. It does not matter, So
I mean, it might just make a couple of interesting lines of dialogue down the line or something.
But that's I don't think that she was just there to serve as eye candy for Thor or anything like that. She was definitely a very strong and powerful character in her own right.
I did have one question about Valkyrie coming away from the film, which is she's, as far as we know, the only surviving Valkyrie from Asgard. How did she get out?
You really think I got an answer here for you?
No, I didn't think so, but I didn't know if it had occurred to you or something, because for people that might not have seen the film but are still listening, good on you. But yes, all of the Valkyries are sent into this realm where Hela is to basically take her down, and she's able to kill literally every other Valkyrie except for Valkyrie, or Scrapper 142 as she's known at the beginning. And someone else pulls her out of the way and gets killed in front of her, and then she's on the ground, and all we know is that she then got out without being killed. That's literally it.
That is an accurate representation. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have the answers you seek. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, the only thing I could think of is maybe they are all able to just kind of slip between worlds as they wish. Maybe let's just kind of go with that. That's
sure. Yeah. Let's go with that. Fine. Okay.
Yeah,
mystery solved. All right.
Yeah, again, it was just a little thing that I kind of, coming away from the cinema, I was just thinking, hang on, like, what was that? But other than that, I thoroughly enjoyed her character and seeing the performance on screen. That was a lot of fun. And again, in the vein of Wonder Woman, good to see a strong female character that is holding her own without the need for any real outside interference.
Yeah, could have had some more in here, but she was great. I can't say enough about her performance in there. Yeah, she's just an awesome actress. And then, I just wanted to bring up one last kind of tertiary character that I was very kind of the sleeper hit, I think, of the movie would be Korg. Korg. So, of course, the moment Korg opened his mouth, I knew who he was, which I was very happy with that. But as big a fan as I am of his, probably not a surprise to Paul now. But this is, of course, voiced by Taika
Yes.
And very much came off like, okay, director voiced this. It's going to be a one and done scene. But he has a pretty meaty role in this movie.
Yep.
Obviously, the comic relief by and large, but I was happy to see that he was really kind of a well thought out character and had some things to do. He was involved in the proceedings throughout, and it's just a lot of fun. That character, I just love him.
Yeah, it a lot of fun to see him not just be a one scene character, and that they kept bringing him back at it. Mm-hmm. And I also liked, and I didn't think about it until I was reading up a little bit later, that he is made of rocks, but he is a very just soft-spoken character. He doesn't have the gravelly thing that you like if you're thinking of Thing in Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's very gravelly in both iterations, and also in an audio book thing that I heard a long time ago. It's always very gravelly.
Mm-hmm.
In this one, it was just a nice, soft-spoken character.
Yeah. I get. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, I initially believed it to be Rhys Darby's doing the voice. And when it scrolled past at the end, it was like, oh, okay, right, wrong person.
Wrong guy, yeah. Yep, you were in the neighborhood, so to speak, there. But
yes.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know if you were into that. He based him on Polynesian bouncers, which I don't know why that's funny, but I think it is. I don't know. I can't say I've ever met Polynesian bouncers, or at least not to my knowledge.
I don't recall ever running into any, but I imagine they are very soft.
Yeah, he says, but he has a light soul. Yeah, he's funny and friendly. Yeah, so he was just a welcome addition to the ensemble here.
Yeah.
And I can't believe, we haven't even mentioned Idris Elba in this, which is a crime. We haven't mentioned Mark Ruffalo. It's an embarrassment of riches in this.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that actually speaks well to the film that we have, with the exception of the villains, so many nice things to say about so many of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
And in films like this, you can quite easily lose track of who's who, and all of these people that have plot lines just roving in and out, and they've done so well at giving everyone a good chance of being center stage, as it were. So,
yeah.
And then even Doctor Strange turns up, and it was...
Yes, he does. Now, this was... No, first, this was... Forgive the ignorance of this question, but this was very similar to the scene, or was this a continuation, or the exact scene that was at the end of Doctor Strange?
It was...
Because Thor shows up at the end in a post-credit scene, does he not?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
It is basically...
I just don't remember that scene.
Yeah, well, it is the bit when Doctor Strange is talking to Thor about needing to find Loki, and Thor's like, well, I'm looking for the... It's that scene, but I'm fairly certain it's a slightly alternate take, because the inflections on some of the lines of dialogue, at least based on my recollection of it, are a bit different. And they also, obviously have Thor being jolted around and a little confused, whereas in the post-credit scene, it felt like Thor just came and sat down and was talking to him. So that's a little bit of misdirection there, and quite well done.
Yeah, but I guess, they had to rush to shoot those before the Doctor Strange sets were destroyed. So
yes,
good on them for getting on top of that.
Yes,
but yeah, that was a really kind of fun scene there. It was nice to see Doctor Strange pop up and kind of tie him further into this universe after his standalone film.
Yeah, and you clearly see, just by having him pop up here, you can see that he's become a lot more confident and knowledgeable in the abilities that he has. So it's, I think it was one of the best ways of sort of doing the training montage without having the training montage.
Yeah, true. Mm-hmm. And I would say one of the best that awkward gag of, oh shit, I'm ruining things with the the umbrella destroying everything.
Yes.
The disguised Mjolnir hammer as the umbrella, just destroying all of his beautiful artifacts, unseen, of course. But that was a great little gag. Yeah.
And then I think my favorite Loki line of all time, as well as the "I've been falling for 30 minutes."
30 minutes. I want that scene. I don't care. I want that 30-minute scene of him just screaming, of him getting bored, maybe taking a nap for a few minutes. Yeah, who knows?
And then screaming again.
Yeah. Sorry, I know. I think we try to avoid just rehashing all the jokes because obviously they pulled them off a little better than we do. But
yes,
obviously you've seen the film, you know. But I did want to bring up just briefly the score. I loved the score in this movie. I thought it was one of the best I've heard in a Marvel movie, and it just really felt 80s and kind of like electro pop or whatever. Like, it was just a lot of fun, and by Mark Mothersbaugh, Akron, Ohio's own. Not that I'm from there, but you know, in the neighborhood, or you know, in the state at least. But he did the Lego Movie. He did Royal Tenenbaums, those scores. But yeah, I just thought it was just a huge part of this movie, and like it was just a great tone setter throughout. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Led Zeppelin song used at bookends. I don't know. I'm kind of over Immigrant Song, but
well, my wife.
But the score I loved.
My wife actually said at the end, she was like, "So, like, why did they use the Wonder Woman theme in this?" I said, "They didn't." They're like, "No, that Led Zeppelin song." I was like, "Oh no, that's not. That wasn't it." And she's like, "No, that was a Wonder Woman thing." I was like, "Oh, okay, sure." I get it's just popular at the moment. And I saw that the director would have asked Queen to work on the soundtrack if Freddie Mercury was still alive.
Yes,
because I mean, you could have had another Flash.
Oh, and along those lines, and off topic, but you have not seen Blade Runner 2049, right?
I have not. No.
Oh, we could have had instead of Jared Leto, we could have had Bowie in that role if Bowie had lived. He was in talks to apparently be in that. All right, that's sad.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
moving on.
Only the good die young right now.
Yes, exactly. I had just a couple other points, but did you have another direction you wanted to head in first?
Well, I was going to ask this because I was watching something recently, like a newer thing, but I felt that the graphics weren't that great. But in this, I feel like the CG would, and again, I find it odd, with the exception of the villain, the CG in this film is sort of spot on. Like even like Fenrir looks fantastic. Like Hulk is definitely getting more and more like photoreal, I feel, at this point. And the emotions, And it was only Hela with the changing headdress thing that just felt
the
like
upside down antlers or whatever that look is.
And in fact, this is going to be a little bit niche. I have no idea how many people listening to this will get this, but she reminded me very much of one of the villains from the kid TV show Reboot. I don't know.
Swing and a miss.
Yes, I was going to assume you wouldn't have seen that one, but probably a little. I think you're a little older than when that would have come out there. But if anyone else happens to know what I'm talking about and agree or disagree, I would really like to hear about that. But I'm fairly certain.
All right, you heard it, Reboot people. Let him hear it.
Yep. Yes, I'm fairly certain I've hit the nail on the head there. I don't think I have any notes written down here. I think I've covered most of the stuff I was going to go over. So, what did you have that you wanted to
I don't know. Did you want to? I just want to mention the Stan Lee cameo again.
Yes, of course.
That was they've been really nailing the Stan Lee cameos, I think, in the past few years. And I think this was just more of the same.
Yes, very much so. Especially now that we know that he is at least helping the Watchers. It's kind of fun to
now that that's
see
been
him
confirmed.
see that he's actively taking part in this thing now, and him being the one to give Thor a haircut. It was very fun.
Yeah, that was great. I kind of want to just talk also just like the overall look of the film. I thought was beautiful. I thought the cinematography in this was amazing. And I will make a stab at this name, cinematographer Javier Aguirre Sorobi? Sure. Okay. I give myself about a 5% chance of getting that right. But he said, he was not so sure at moments, because of, I guess, the levels of CG in this or how to, position the camera in some scenarios. But I think he figured it out because I don't know. I think that this film looks fantastic. Even for just a Marvel film, that level of is kind of expected out of these films, and even so, I think this one still stands out.
Yeah, no, it was a really cool film to watch, just visually, and again, even taking the CG out of it, just see the decisions that were made. It felt very much like a sort of an 80s film would look if they had technology of today. Like, it really did kind of capture that. The sort of the wide shots that they would use for the setting up, but then when they're going through,
like Highlander with really good CG.
Exactly.
I know that's what you're going for, right? Okay.
Yeah, that is exactly what I was saying.
All right, nailed it.
But yeah, also the scenes when they're going through like the marketplace and stuff like that, I felt like it was, I've seen this style of thing before. It was very nostalgic, even though it was a brand new film that I was watching unfold in front of my eyes. It was like, I kind of feel like I know this, and I think they were somehow able to blend the nostalgic feel and tones of that time with the modern day storytelling and equipment and stuff. So I think they managed to pull that off very well.
I 100% agree. Yes, sir. I know it's so exciting when we're just right on the same page here. Okay.
Well, yes,
but this often happens, albeit the Guardians 2 stand out. But
let's
just talk about that again. Okay.
Hopefully, we are, even though we agree, we have slightly different ways of expressing it. So it's not too boring.
I did want to. We talked briefly before we started recording. I did want to briefly mention the play within the movie at the top of this.
Yes.
I loved this.
It was fantastic.
Yes, and my friend, that was the bathroom break, and that was a very poorly timed bathroom break on their part. But so we get a couple of really fun cameos here, and I don't know, as I was kind of telling Paul, I think it's kind of fun to just leave them unmentioned, even though people have probably seen this film.
Yes.
And I will say there is a slight film reunion, although they don't share a scene, to a dinosaur movie. Yes. So, yes, there is a lead actor that pops up in there.
Yes, there's also, you could say there's a well-known puppet is in there as well.
Okay, there's someone from that spent some time in outer space.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, we're having fun there, and then we had, of course, Anthony Hopkins was back as Odin. He said he would not be back, but I guess he was so impressed with the script that he'd signed back on. So, because we were already missing, who was it? Seraph, or what was the name? Sif. I'm sorry, Sif. Yeah, I think. But it was nice to have him back just for that opening scene there.
Yeah, and they also dispatched Hogan, Volstagg, and Fandral as well, right near the beginning there, and they did that as a way of sort of being like, oh no, these characters are gone now, but also highlighting this is how much of a problem Hello was going to be. So it was, I did enjoy the way that they were dispatched. It was just sad that they weren't going to be in it for much longer.
Yes, agreed. Once again. But yeah, it's just another example of like how well they accomplished the humor in this film. Taika and the writers. I know we're just sorry, I'm low energy, but I really did have a good time watching this. Might not be coming through, but damn, this movie is a lot of fun.
Yeah, very much so. It's one of those films that I think is going to be a good rewatch because, number one, I'm sure there are many things that were in the background or something that will be fun to go back and see, but it's also because it just has that fun feel to it. Almost, I mean, obviously Guardians of the Galaxy was fun, but this was almost as much of a surprise to me as like how much I enjoyed it as Pacific Rim was. Because I knew I would like Pacific Rim, I didn't realize I would like it that much. And going into this one, I was like, well, based on the trailers, it seemed like it'll be good. And I came out of it going, wow, yeah, they they didn't do what a lot of films do, which is they make a good trailer, and then it's like, oh, well, these are all of the fun, cool bits, and now we've kind of not focused on that for the rest of the film. So it was a pleasant surprise.
And yeah, I would say of the 3 Marvel films this year, which is, I can't believe they did 3 this year, I would put this number 1, Homecoming number 2, and then Guardians number 3. But I can understand how some people's lists may not look like that. But
yes, well, I have not seen Homecoming yet, so I will waive my right to judge that one.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this was definitely above Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So.
Oh, all right. Well, I appreciate that, Bone. Thank you. Okay, coming around here. Yeah, this is one like I can't wait till it like gets on like HBO because I'll just have it on while I'm doing things, around my place or and just it'll just be a nice have it on and stop and watch for half an hour and because whatever that half hour is going to be, it's going to be a good bit. So
I had to say I'm contemplating doing in the weeks leading up to Infinity War Part 1, I kind of want to do a starting from Iron Man rewatch of all the Marvel films, which I think will be a lot of fun because it'll end with this one and then Black Panther. And obviously,
I'm so excited for Black Panther! I cannot wait for Black Panther.
Yeah,
it's you got a trailer at the top of this, right?
Yes,
for Black Panther. Oh my gosh, I love that trailer. And I think it's the first time I've seen that trailer in the theater.
Oh really?
I think I saw the teaser before. I don't know if I've seen the full trailer in the theater yet, but oh my gosh, it looks so great! I can't wait. God damn it, that thing better do well. It's going to, but
it better do well for the right reasons,
because it's an amazing damn movie. It's at least by all accounts looks to be one. So
yes,
so super pumped for that one. Oh my god, and Pacific Rim 2. I'm sure you've watched the trailer for that one a few times.
Yes.
You think it's gonna live up to 1?
No, but I hope it comes close.
Close. Yeah. If it's in the neighborhood, I'm okay. We're if you're not familiar, unabashedly and unapologetically enormous fans of Pacific Rim. So,
yes, very much so.
I don't care what you say. It's one of the best GD guilty pleasure movies ever. Not even that. It's just straight up amazing.
Obviously this film has good use of nostalgic fit and stuff like that. Guardians of the Galaxy, same again, but Pacific Rim is just and not trying to gender stereotype, but if you're a guy, it is just pure nostalgia. Like it's just...
Well, I'm not even going to say that. If you're anyone that enjoys a good, like, this is the monster flick to end all monster flicks, I would say.
Yes.
But
they really should just not bother with any more Godzillas. Just like, you're done.
Although I guess they said, or I don't know if this was from Guillermo or not, but he said he was up for a Godzilla Pacific Rim universe, like a tie-in.
Okay, yes, let's do that.
But it just all depends on how well it's handled, and who's handling it.
Yes.
Who those directors are and who those producers are. Yeah, what studio's doing. Like, all that kind of stuff really matters. So I don't know how that would come together. But since we're in the tangent portion of this, when in doubt, along the lines of monster movies, have you seen Colossal?
I have
with
not.
Anne Hathaway and Jason Sudeikis.
I know it is on Hulu, and every time I'm on Hulu and I watch something, it's like, oh, would you like to watch this next? It's like, I would like to watch it, but I don't have an hour and a half right now. So
I would highly recommend that to anyone. It's a lot of fun. It's really different than what you think it's going to be. It has some important things to say, and doesn't do it too ham-fistedly or hit you over the head with it. But it's a really cool, fun movie, under the radar kind of flick, and I think it's great. It's got a monster and big monsters and robots. So hey, something for everybody, right?
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah, check out Colossal. But since we're in the meandering part of this, I think that means we've run out of things to say on Thor Ragnarok.
Kind of.
Although there is so much more, we didn't run out of them. I think we ran out of energy to say.
Yes.
We didn't talk about Thor's eye. We didn't talk about the arena scene. Just because we've seen it in the trailer 4,000 times before we saw the movie, probably. But
yes, that was. I think of all the marketing stuff, that was what I was most annoyed about. That particular bit was in there. I understand why it was in the trailers, and then every subsequent trailer, but damn it, you could have left that as a surprise. That would have been the biggest reaction in the cinema.
Yeah, and just to make anyone feel awful that hates that line, that the friend from work, I'll just make you feel terrible about yourself. That was suggested by a Make-A-Wish kid on set. So I hope you feel happy. Hating that line. No. I love that line. I think it's great. But even before I knew that.
Yeah, and it is perfectly Thor at this point.
Yes, so, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the action. Like, we should have talked more about the action in this movie, but the action sequences from that opening fight with I can't even think of the giant demon's name right now. But sorry, comic book people yelling at me. Yes, thank you. But even from that opening one to the final one, I mean, the action was just so well handled and looked incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could go on about lots of other things in this movie.
Yes.
But I don't think we will.
No, we have to let the good people go at some point.
Yes, and we also have to let ourselves go.
Exactly.
And
I did get one person giving some thoughts that I said I would read out from @CinemaPod, which is the Cinnamon podcast, in case you can't put two and two together. They said that they did do a 40-minute thing on their podcast about it, but trying to condense it as much as they could. Said, I loved it and it was fun, but it was just another Marvel movie at the end of the day. And I can see where it's coming from there, but I respectfully disagree, because I feel like it's, as you were saying towards the beginning, it's definitely up there with one of the better ones, and I feel like if the people that are kind of running with this series now continue to, I feel like this ending of Phase 3 and what feels like to me is ramping up to be the end of this section of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I almost feel like what they're doing is they're building to a giant climax, which will kill off a couple of characters, will change some of the characters. So like there'll be a different Iron Man by the end of Infinity War, or there will be like someone else taking up Thor's mantle.
Oh yeah.
As they
Well,
do
we're
in the comics,
definitely getting a couple characters that are going to turn heel. I feel like that's definitely going to happen.
So
I don't know who that's going to be just yet, but
I feel like this has been a fantastic thing to happen, because moving forward from here, they can bring other characters forward, as obviously we saw with Guardians of the Galaxy, that people may not know too well, but it can be done well, and then we can have a new series of characters to get to know across several more films. So I'm looking forward to that, and yes, I slightly disagree with the Cinnamon podcast viewpoint there, but thank you for getting a hold of us there. You were, as I said, the only people to get back to us.
Oh yeah, to be fair, we didn't give people too much time.
Unfortunately, I've been a little busy, so
that is
I wasn't able to get that out.
Okay, yeah, but just closing down, I would say I would just reiterate, I think it's one of the better Marvel films, and that is not to say, if you've heard me say on this podcast that I am hungry for original content, I don't believe that is hypocritical there. I still want as much original content as we can get. I am saying for this genre and for these Marvel films, I think it's a great movie in this universe. Is it one of the best? No. Will it be one of the best movies I've seen in the year? Probably. It's probably going to be top 5 or top 10 movies of the year for me, out of out of all genres.
Yeah, it's I obviously haven't seen as many films as I would like to, given my current home situation. But I do feel like it's going to be up there. I hope it at least gets a nod for even cinematography or effects and stuff like that. And even costuming.
I think it's going to get plenty of effects, and the costuming was great too. I hope that a certain awards show will bear that in mind. Well, we will see, and we kind of are on the board of another award show, so we'll see how things go on that one.
So, do you have a rating for this one? We haven't done it in a while.
We haven't. Real quick, 15-second rundown. We everything starts at a 0. We take off points into the negative, intermittently or objectively, however we deem, until we arrive at a negative rating. Of a -1 is a very good film, and -3 is still good, but not, obviously not as great as a -1. So if that makes any sort of sense, and it doesn't, that is how we do things at BlokeBusters.
Hey, it's different and it's somewhat memorable. So there we go.
So I would probably be right around somewhere between. I'm going to keep it at a range here. I can't pin it down. I'm going to be at like a -1.5 to a -2 on this. I think it's great. I'm kind of prorating that for time past. I think that's kind of where the dust will settle for me. It's probably around a -2. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of fun. Like I say, I'm just going to end up repeating myself. So let's just toss it right over back to you.
All right. Okay. Well, myself, I've been kind of tossing it around a little bit because, as you say, I know it will come down probably over time, but as of where I'm standing right now and how much I enjoyed it, obviously I've mentioned a couple of my issues with it in terms of the villain and stuff, but I feel like even with that, I'm going to go with let's say -1, -1.5, like in there, because I feel like it was fantastic. I didn't have too many niggles with it. I mean, obviously the villain, that's a big niggle, but it's like, you know what? Every other character was so well done that I'm willing to only take off a little bit myself for that. So there you go. That's
all right.
Rating, and that's Brian's rating, and I feel like we need to let you go at this point. So.
I feel like we gotta put a bow on this one and call it an evening here, or whatever time of day it is for you folks.
So with that, I will just say that I've been Paul.
And I've been Brian.
See you, folks.
Bye.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Hang on a minute, lads. I've got a great idea.
Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.